Hi YouTube. Today I'm going to be splitting wood, and I want to show my splitter again. There's been a lot of buzz on YouTube lately about log splitters. This is a Huskee 22 ton that I bought at Tractor Supply in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. I couldn't even tell you what year I got it. I've had it several years. It's on its second engine. The first engine went bad right out of warranty, and it never did run good. We couldn't get it to run good, and finally the engine was junk, so I had to buy another engine for it. Ended up getting the same thing that was on it, which is this Briggs & Stratton Quantum Series 190cc. These are basically like a push lawnmower engine, vertical shaft, and they're kind of cheap. Kind of a cheap valve system for it. However, it's a 22 ton, which is about the smallest that you can get. And I've got some big stuff to split. This isn't the biggest stuff I've got here today, but this is too big for one guy to handle alone. Two guys can handle this. This is as big as the stuff I split last year. I got a big log over there to cut up and split. But what makes this unique is I took this over to Elgin and had Frieden Welding at Elgin, Lane Frieden. I went to school with Lane. We were locker mates in high school. I had him design a boom for this. It's just a short boom. When this is in the vertical position, it feeds this cable out from this hand crank winch out to these logging tongs here, and these have a replaceable tip on them. These come to a really sharp point, and they dig right in. And once if they get a hold and get in the bark, they won't come loose. They do nothing but grab tighter and tighter. And then I crank them into the foot. They'll spin right into that foot. I hold a little pressure on until I run the ram down. And I'm going to give a demonstration here in just a couple minutes. We're going to start it up and let it warm up. And to set it up, this thing is heavy now. There's a lot of weight added to this because this is all solid steel. Well, this is tubing, but it's fairly substantial stuff. And it's added a lot of weight to the front end of it. And so I run the ram out, so that kind of helps shift some of the weight out away to the other end, so it makes it easier to lift. Also, I did away with that cheap channel that they had for a drawbar and went with 3x3 box tube. Added a bulldog jack. I call it a bulldog jack. It's an aftermarket. I picked it up off of Amazon. And it's a good jack. It's a real good jack. And I added a 2-inch receiver instead of the 1 7/8 that it comes with. I'm trying to standardize everything so I don't have to have a different ball for everything I go to do. So I'm real happy with this splitter. Yeah, it's amazing even for a 22 ton. I know there's a lot bigger ones out here. This does a pretty good job of splitting. It's a slow cycle time. I think it's a 13-second cycle time. Working alone, that's fine. If you had a crew, you'd probably want something faster. This was on sale for $900 when I got it. I've got just a little over a couple $100 in the modifications I've done to it, but that turned it into a much better splitter than what it is. Now I think that's enough talk. Let's see this thing in action. Once again, here I am. I'm running the ram down so that it adds more weight to the bottom, makes this easier to lift. This thing's really heavy the way it's set up. The idea here is to keep tension on the logging tongs. If the log or the block that I'm moving, if it rolls, it can allow slack and the tongs will fall off. As long as they're tight, they'll just keep digging in. It works well. Once the block is split and it cannot be held together anymore by the logging tongs, I swing them out of the way behind the engine up against the beam, and usually by that point I can handle these by myself. My latest Stihl hookaroon or pickaroon, depending on what part of the country you inhabit. Wow, sweet. I don't know how anybody ever did wood without these. As you notice, I can just jam this into a piece. You're going to be out of frame if I do that. So anyway, you got to see a little demonstration. I'll do more later. Right now, let's take a break together. I want to tell a little story about my dad. When he died in he was 94, well on his way to being 95. Still living at home alone, cutting his own firewood. And I worked at the mine at the time. We worked 5 days on, 3 days off, and my wood got away from me. And I needed to split. So I came early in the morning. My dad came down and helped me. He ran the logging tongs, hooking them up. And we didn't take a break. We didn't bring anything to eat. We didn't stop for lunch. And it got to be, wow, it was the end of October, 1st of November, sometime in there. It was cold. It was probably mid-30s don't think it was freezing, but anyway, he came down and it was getting dark, probably 4:30 in the afternoon, starting to get pretty dark. We had quite a little bit left. And he goes, how long are you going to work? I said, I'm going to finish this. I want to be done. I want to take the splitter home. So I said, go to the house. I ain't got lights. Go. Appreciate the help, but go. Nope. If you're staying, I'm staying. It was 8:30 when we rolled in the yard that night, and I could hardly put one foot in front of the other. I was exhausted. I have no more to give. We put everything away in the shed, and I went to get my pickup to go home, and we're walking across the yard back to the house, and my 94-year-old dad goes, you know, I think I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm like, hello, 94, holy cow. And if you ever watch Angleside Farm, Steve from Angleside Farm, that's his channel on YouTube. Check that out, great channel. Just recently started on YouTube. His dad, forgive me Steve, I think he's 95 or 96. And he features his dad in some of his videos. He's still going strong, got a good memory. So anyway, let's take a little break, YouTube. Gonna see the doctor for this little break here. And speaking of doctor, after I get done splitting this wood, I'm gonna have to go see Dr. Megan. Dr. Megan, are you out there?
Hi, I'm Dr. Megan and you're watching Tractor Talk with Gary.
Go.
Please subscribe to the channel.
I want to give a little demonstration with the new pickaroon and how to use it. You want to stab it into the wood really hard, because if you don't, it won't stay. You just give it a good quick stab like this. Try that again. This time without the oops. See, and it holds right in there.